こんにちは。LA ラジオ放送局のらーこです。LA 直送らーこのドジャース速報。今回は番外編としましてですね、ドジャースからちょっとだけ離れまして、アメリカのテレビ業界で大きな話題となりまして、私が試合中にも、少しお話ししたんですけれども、ジミー・キメル賞のお話を少し、させていただきたいと思います。私ももう LA に20年近く住んでおりまして、ジミー・キメル賞というのは、大変身近な番組でして、で私の住んでいるところウェストハリウッドあたりからすぐ近くで収録されています。大変本当に身近な、日本で言うとっていうとちょっとあんまりないんですけれどもね、トークショーなので、一番似てるのは昔のいいともとか徹子の部屋みたいにゲストを呼んでお話をしたりとか、あと違うのは冒頭でですね、モノローグって言いまして、時事問題に関してですね、コメディ、スタンドアップコメディみたいに、政治的な立場の人を揶揄したりとか、でもコメディショーなので、笑いを取るんですけれども、ジミー・キミルさんっていうのはさらにちょっと一歩なんて言いますかね、先に踏み入れて、結構踏み込んだ発言をする人で知られています。大変リベラルな方なんですが、発端は保守系活動家のチャーリー・カーク氏が銃撃で亡くなった事件、ご存知の方もいるかと思うんですけれども、これに関してモノローグ、一番最初の冒頭のモノローグでですね、極端な発言を繰り返してきた人物が銃の犠牲になるとは皮肉だと発言をしまして、でこんなことは全然もう SNS でも言われてたんですけど、カーク氏っていうのは、銃をアメリカでキープしていくためには、多少の犠牲者が出るのは仕方ないとか、そういう発言をしてた人なので、それに関してはもう SNS じゃ自分のした発言がもう自分に返ってきたねなんてことは全然言われていたことなんですけれども、ジミー・キムルさんがこれを言ったことで保守派の方から大変批判が出まして、でそうですね、トランプ大統領がディズニーと ABC を恥を知れと、明言したりで、それを受けまして FCC の委員長ですね、 FCC っていうのはその番組、テレビ番組放送される倫理的なこととかを管理している委員会なんですが、ただその FCC の委員長はトランプの息がかかってるっていうのはちょっとトランプでもジミー・キミルの番組の中で話してる通りなんですが、それはさておき、その FCC の発言から、ディズニーと ABC は圧力を受けまして、なんとジミー・キミル賞キャンセルされました。停止されまして放送を取りやめました。これは私も含め大変ショックな出来事で、要するに、目の前で表現の自由といいますか、それが音を立てて崩れていくような事件だったので、これはアメリカ人黙っているわけにいきません。できることをやろうということになりまして、ディズニープラスを解約しよう運動が起きました。でキャンセル運動、サブスクを解約する運動が広がりまして、ものすごい大打撃をディズニープラスに与えました。で芸能人の人たちとかも声を上げてくれまして、ディズニーのブランドのダメージ、収益のダメージ、そして表現の自由を守れという声を高まったことで、なんと昨日ディズニーとキメルが話し合いまして、番組が再開されたということになりました。でその久しぶりに復活したジミー・キメルショーの、冒頭のモノローグの部分を字幕をつけてお伝えします。ちょっとフェアユーズにするために音楽を大きめで、ちょっとジミー・キメルさんの話してる声はちょっと小さめなんですけれども、字幕を大きめにつけたので、彼が喋ってるのを見たい方は、ジミー・キメルの方の、チャンネルに行ってみてください。
I'm not sure who had a weirder 48 hours, me or the CEO of Tylenol. It's been overwhelming. I've heard from a lot of people over the last 6 days. I've heard from all the people in the world over the last 6 days. Everyone I have ever met has reached out 10 or 11 times. And I also want to thank all of you. Who supported our show, cared enough to do something about it, to make your voices heard so that mine could be heard. I will never forget it. And maybe most of all, I want to thank the people who don't support my show and what I believe, but support my right to share those beliefs anyway. Old pal Ted Cruz, who, believe it or not, said something very beautiful on my behalf.
I hate what Jimmy Kimmel said. I am thrilled that he was fired.
Oh, wait, no, not that. The other part.
But let me tell you, if the government gets in the business of saying,
What you
we
can and
don't
can't
like
say.
what you, the media, have said, we're going to ban you from the airwaves if you don't say what we like. That will end up bad for conservatives.
I don't think I've ever said this before, but Ted Cruz is right. He's absolutely right. Even though I don't agree with many of those people on most subjects, some of the things they say even make me want to throw up. It takes courage for them to speak out against this administration, and they did, and they deserve credit for it. And thank you for telling their followers that our government cannot be allowed to control what we do and do not say on television, and that we have to stand up to it. I've been hearing a lot about what I need to say and do tonight, and the truth is, I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. I have many friends and family members on the other side who I love and remain close to, even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't. Ever. And also selfishly, I am a person who gets a lot of threats. I get many ugly and scary threats against my life, my wife, my kids, my coworkers, because of what I choose to say. And I know those threats don't come from the kind of people on the right who I know and love. So that's what I wanted to say on that subject. But this show is not important. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this. Yeah! I've had the opportunity to meet and spend time with comedians and talk show hosts from countries like Russia, countries in the Middle East, who tell me they would get thrown in prison for making fun of those in power, and worse than being thrown in prison. They know how lucky we are here. Our freedom to speak is what they admire most about this country. And that's something I'm embarrassed to say I took for granted until they pulled my friend Steven off the air and tried to coerce the affiliates who run our show in the cities that you live in to take my show off the air. That's not legal. That's not American. That is un-American, and it is so dangerous. You almost have to feel sorry for him. He did his best to cancel me. Instead, he forced millions of people to watch the show. That backfired bigly. He might have to release the Epstein files to distract us from this now. Conditions for my return to the air, and there is one. Disney has asked me to read the following statement, and I agreed to do it. Here we go. To reactivate your Disney Plus and Hulu account, open the Disney Plus app on your smart TV or TV-connected device. Every night, they've defended my right to poke fun at our leaders and to advocate for subjects that I think are important by allowing me to use their platform, and I am very grateful for that. With that said, I was not happy when they pulled me off the air on Wednesday. I did not agree with that decision, and I told them that, and we had many conversations. I shared my point of view, they shared theirs. We talked it through, and at the end, even though they didn't have to, they really didn't have to. This is a giant company. We have short attention spans, and I am a tiny part of the Disney Corporation. They welcomed me back on the air, and I thank them for that. That unfortunately, and I think unjustly, this puts them at risk. The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke. He was somehow able to squeeze Colbert out of CBS. Then he turned his sights on me, and now he's openly rooting for NBC to fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and the hundreds of Americans who work for their shows who don't make millions of dollars. And I hope that if that happens, or if there's even any hint of that happening, you will be 10 times as loud as you were this week. We have to speak out against this.
はい、ということで、もう少し喋るんですけれども、これ前半そうですね3分の2ぐらいかな、冒頭の話で、この後、コメディだけじゃなくてジャーナリズムも狙われてると、これからどのプラットフォームでどのニュースを流していいかっていう風に政府が指示するようになったら、本当に政府にこの国がコントロールされてこの国は終わりだというような感じもしています。ということで、昨日の YouTube の視聴者数もものすごかったみたいですし、かなり大きい出来事になりました。ジミー・キメルも言っている通り、このショーをキャンセルしたかったのに、皮肉にもものすごい数の人がこのショーに注目してしまう結果となりました。ということで、そろそろドジャースのゲームも始まるので、ドジャースの試合が始まる前にこの動画をアップロードして、今日は、ドジャース速報の LA 直送のドジャース速報番外編としてお伝えしました。これからこういう形でやっていくことがあるのかはちょっとわからないですけれども、 LA ラジオ放送局と、名をつけているので、ロサンゼルスの時事的なことも少し、ずつ入れていってもいいかなとは考えています。それでは聞いてくださってありがとうございました。よろしければチャンネル登録もお願いします。